yeah, Thursday. Is it Thursday already? It's Thursday, right? Oh yeah, okay. It's Thursday. Is it Thursday already? Wow. Episode 3 of the Skeleton Crew is here and it has fans losing their minds online, okay? This third episode could not have been better. I literally don't think it could have been. It catapulted us into this crazy mystery about the Old Republic and these 8 mysteriously lost planets, or planets of wonder, as it was described to us. So let's dive into all of it. How's everybody doing on this fine Thursday afternoon? What's up, chat? Okay, so we got a lot to talk about, a lot to predict, a lot to go over here today about this third episode of the Skeleton Crew. Jod Na Nawood finally officially introduced to us. Whether he's a Jedi or not, it kind of became clear in this episode. Now, what he is still is a mystery. If he's a Sith, if he was once a Jedi, or if he somehow learned the Force some other way. We don't know. We'll talk about it today. We'll speculate. A lot of today's stream is going to be speculation, as all the answers are not revealed just yet. But the big thing was the Old Republic reveal. The big connection to the actual Old Republic, or at least that Old Republic into the High Republic era, with these 8 hidden planets, purposely hidden, that were once destroyed a long time ago. We're going to talk about all of it, but how's everybody doing? First things first, let's say hi to everybody in the chat. Shall we? Wait, what did my chat go over there? Go over there. Okay, that's better. Austin Snow, what is up? Brandon Baker, how we doing? Joe in the house. John Groom, what is up? Fearless, how we doing? Hodja, what is up? Darth Thor in the house. Thomas, what is up? Ian, how we doing? Navarro, what is up? Rachel, how we doing? Grad, what is up? Fickle, what is up? Starship 66, how we doing? You guys know the deal. If I missed you, just yell at me in the chat. Let's give everybody a nice little
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
Okay. So let's, first things first, tell me in the chat, this third episode of Skeleton Crew, rank it out of 10. What do you give this episode on a scale of 1 to 10? The third episode of Skeleton Crew, tell me, chat. And while you do that, let's put up a poll in the chat. By the way, if you haven't smashed a freaking like on the stream, I don't know what the hell you're waiting for. Let's get on that. But smash a freaking like on the stream. That's what that last poll said. Let's put up a new one. What did you think of Skeleton Crew episode 3? Did you love it? Did you like it? Were you like, meh, I mean, it's all right? Or did you hate it with a burning passion? What do we think, chat? Love it, like it, meh, or hate it? And rank it out of 10 in the chat as you come on in. All right, let's see what we got. 9 out of 10, 7.5, 8, 8.5, 9, 9, 9, 7, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9.99, 7.5, 9.4, 1 million. Oh my God, these are some high scores. Ian says, Jod Na is my new Mara Jade. I hope he marries Luke just to explode the heads of certain YouTubers. That would be hilarious if they replaced Mara Jade with Jod Na Nawood. But I'm going to say no. That's going to be my first prediction of the day. No, he is not Mara Jade. Okay. But those are some pretty high scores. And honestly, I gave it a 9 out of 10. It could move even higher. I've watched this third episode now 4 times, something like that. 3.5, maybe 4 times. And it just keeps getting better. I mean, there's so many details in this third episode that I don't even think I found them all. There's like the whole Kim, the owl Kim. It's spelled nothing like you'd think it was spelled. But Kim, this owl creature, which, by the way, talk about a cool new character. She was so cool. An owl who lives on a moon by herself that knows all the different maps and has all the different maps to all the different planets in the galaxy. knew about At-Aten when pretty much, I mean, some people knew about it, but they didn't believe that it even existed. She believed that it existed and had this awesome, cool scroll, I guess. She didn't call it a map, but a scroll about these lost planets. And in that room, she talks about having over 1,000 artifacts from 1,000 different planets. And when you look in the background, there's a bunch of cool little like banners and stuff. Couldn't even look at all of it because there was just so much going on. A ton of Easter eggs in this third episode. Some that we noticed, some that a lot of fans didn't notice. The Hondo Unaka ship was still there, and it was, I mean, come on. But still no Hondo, which is a bummer. Still no Hondo just yet. Still holding out hope for Hondo Unaka. But tell me in the chat what you thought of this third episode, and let's do this. There's a ton of Easter eggs, a lot of things to translate. That's true. The map scroll has been translated, but it's incomplete. Yeah, shout out to your pal Joe for translating a lot of that stuff for the breakdown video. So far, a lot of the translated stuff hasn't been too significant. Like, it's not phrase Kujet type significance where you're talking about the Zepho and ancient Sith lords and stuff like that. It's sort of just been common sense, or not common sense, but like not that kind of translation, you know? It's just been some sort of small little details, just describing things. So nothing too big in those translations just yet. Now things may change because there's a lot of translating to come, but yes. The Coruscant and Alderaan reference, true. KB talks about how in their class they learned about Coruscant and Alderaan, implying that the planet of At-Aten is close to those core worlds, which is very strange, because if it's a core world, then how is it missing? If At-Aten is a core world in the Star Wars galaxy, then how is it hidden that well if it's right there in the middle? But I don't know. We shall see. We shall see. All right, where should we start, chat? Should we start with Jod Na Nawood? Should we start with the Old Republic stuff? This great works, what we've kind of pieced together with this scroll that Kim has shown us? I don't know where to start. There's too much of it. Where do we start? Old Republic. Okay, let's talk about the Old Republic, shall we? So, in this third episode, we got a look at this. And this seems to be sort of the what the hell's going on type thing from that episode. As Kim is explaining in this scene that there were 1, 2, she's standing on 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 planets. You could argue that there's a 9th one down here, but 8 planets that were purposefully hidden from the rest of the galaxy. Maybe because they had some sort of resource on them, maybe because they're significant for another reason, I don't know yet. But they were purposely hidden during the time of the Old Republic. Now, it has not been clarified what they're talking about when they say Old Republic. How long ago? We have no idea. It could be 50 years ago. It could be 20,000 years ago. We have no idea right now. Now, there's some fans that are of the mind that it is the High Republic era that they're talking about, and they're referring to it as the Old Republic because right now they're in the New Republic, and they're just referring to the High Republic as the Old because it's old. There's other fans that think they're talking about the Old Republic, and some fans that think they're talking about the prequel trilogy. Now, there's a reason why it can't be the prequel trilogy, which we'll talk about in a second. But when Kim is talking about these 8 planets, she says that they were planets hidden, and they're planets, and this closed captioning right here says planets of wonder kept hidden from the rest of the galaxy. But she mentions that all but 1 were destroyed long ago. 2 keywords there, or 3 keywords there. Long ago and destroyed. That's important. First things first, long ago. What does that mean? Could mean 50 years. Could mean 20,000, like we just said. It's 9 planets, Mike. Well, I don't know if this is a planet. Oh, did I say 8? 8 planets were destroyed, 1 is remains. Did I say 8 planets? Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Did I say 8? My fault, chat. It's 9 planets, 8 were destroyed. Yes? Good. My bad. My counting brain is not on right now. Okay. 8 planets were destroyed and 1 remains. That's what I meant to say. And 1 remains. And she says that it was so long ago that the only people who believe that that actually exists, that one planet still exists, are fools. They're idiots. And of course, Kim is one of those said fools and idiots because she believes that it still exists, because it does. Now, the big thing is that I can't wrap my mind around it. The word destroyed. These other 8 planets were destroyed. First of all, why? And second of all, what does destroyed mean? Like the Death Star blew it up? No, we know that that didn't happen. So what else could destroy it? In my breakdown video yesterday, I mentioned Darth Nihilus, the Sith Lord from the Old Republic that could eat planets. And it's a crazy, far-fetched theory, but is it? We're talking Old Republic now. We are talking the Old Republic. And there is a Sith Lord that is very famous named Darth Nihilus who could eat planets. So is it that crazy, Chad? Is it that crazy? But let's say it's not Darth Nihilus eating the planets. Let's say it's something else. Well, then what? What has the power to destroy 8 different planets? Has to be some sort of empire or empire-esque sort of being or army, I guess. Some sort of army that has the ability to go trample 8 different planets because they're hidden away for some sort of reason. They have some sort of resource on those planets that are hidden away for some reason. Now, I want to take a closer look at this. These 9 planets. 9 planets. Because if you look here, they all sort of have a gas around them, let's say. They all have their own unique, different pattern on any of the planets. The middle one specifically having this weird one, but they all have these different swirls and circles, and this one looks like a mint. If it was red and white, I would eat it. But they all have their own sort of designs, and the nebulas around them are what keep them hidden. And this is not the first time we've seen this in Star Wars. Zeb's homeworld from Star Wars Rebels is hidden behind a nebula. Tanalorr in Star Wars Jedi Survivor with Cal Kestis is hidden behind a nebula. Even Exegol is hidden through a nebula. You have to go through the nebula to get to it, and that's why they need the Sith Wayfinders. So all of these planets were hidden by nebula. Very strange when you think about who could have hid these planets. If we're talking about the Old Republic, it could be one of 2 people, the Jedi or the Sith. I mean, it could be anybody, I guess, but it's most likely either the Jedi or the Sith, the 2 powerhouses of the galaxy at the time. Now we know, like I just mentioned, Exegol is hidden behind a nebula as well. So is it possible that all these planets, these 9 different planets, were hidden by the Sith in the Old Republic? And the big question remains is why? Why hide 9 planets? Why hide a planet at all? What are you hiding a planet for? And that brings up the Great Work. Okay? So the Great Work was mentioned in episode 1 of this Skeleton Crew show. And it has been mentioned before in Star Wars canon, actually fairly recently. And that was in the High Republic novels. The High Republic novels take place 250-ish, give or take, because they span across about 1,000 years, but a couple hundred years before the prequel trilogy. And this Great Works is the idea of the Chancellor at the time, Chancellor Lina Soh. Now, the Great Works is a sort of combination of a bunch of different things, expanding the Republic's reach to the Outer Rim with the Starlight Beacon, and a lot of other things that are involved in those books that, honestly, I have not been caught up on. I've only read the first phase of those books, haven't read the second phase or the third phase. So tell me in the chat if you've read those books, and you might have some more insight, as I don't. But I have this article right here that kind of goes into this. The possibility that this is referring to the High Republic era, which only takes place a few hundred years before, rather than the Old Republic era, which is thousands of years before. So let's read this, shall we? And it talks about Chancellor Lina Soh as well. So let's dive into this. Let's dive into this, The great works of Star Wars Republic explained. So this is our map again right there. This week's episode of Skeleton Crew began to peel back, the layers around the mystery of At-Aten, the world our young heroes hail from, and are mostly eager to get back to. Wim's not that eager because, let's be honest, he wanted to leave in the first place. But in doing so, it made some pretty intriguing connections to the wider Star Wars lore. One that could have some very interesting ramifications for the show's place in the galaxy far, far away. Now, let's talk about that for a second. Again, spoiler warning. Oh, if I haven't mentioned this before, spoilers for Skeleton Crew Episode 3. If you are now 16 minutes into this live stream, there might be some spoilers for Episode 3 of Skeleton Crew. Okay, but let's talk about this. Skeleton Crew, when it was first announced, people went, I remember that noise specifically. It was ringing in my head. They were like, introducing a new show by John Watts, Skeleton Crew. That's what Star Wars fans were doing. Now, we really didn't know what it was, and we didn't know why it was being created. The same thing as pretty much The Mandalorian or Andor. I guess we knew who Andor was, but the same question was, why are we making this show? What's the purpose? So, when Skeleton Crew was announced, yes, Jude Law was attached. Yes, John Watts was attached. John Favreau and Dave Filoni were also attached. But we didn't know what it was, what the purpose it served for the greater story of this thing we call Star Wars. And now it's kind of becoming clear. Skeleton Crew might just be the introduction to the old freaking Republic for Star Wars fans, which is absolutely insane. We've been begging, pleading for the old Republic content for decades now. And it seems like it's right on the other side of that horizon. Like the old Republic is peaking up. Like, oh my God, it's coming! So that might be the purpose of the Skeleton Crew show. Now, it is tying to all these different stories, possibly the High Republic, possibly the Old Republic, maybe even Ahsoka, and hopefully the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Well, let's read this article, shall we? In episode 3 of the series, the kids and the audience alike learn from the avian astronavigation expert, Kim. Again, did I say it was spelled weird or what? Kim. I don't know if you could use more letters to write the name Kim. Silent M, silent H. Throw in an apostrophe there. Why not? Kim, that At-Aten is the sole surviving world in a group known as the Jewels of the Old Republic. Not the High Republic, not the Republic, the Jewels of the Old Republic. A series of at least 9 worlds that were placed under Republic protection to be kept hidden in some form or another to safeguard some wondrous features about them, either ecological, or, as Jod believes, some grand treasure awaits to be plundered. Now, why would they be hiding treasure? What would they actually be hiding on these 9 planets? First of all, why 9? What's the significance about 9 planets other than the fact that there's 9 main Star Wars trilogy films? Coincidence? I think not. But why 9 planets? And what were they hiding there? I'm seriously asking you guys because I have no idea. Well, let's keep reading. But all but At-Aten have been destroyed. Destroyed, again, being the key word. Outright, since the establishment of the project. But while trying to figure out defining features of the world to narrow down Kim's search, Nihil makes a mention that no one on the planet is meant to leave the protection of the barrier of nebula gas. So again, the significance of the planet being hidden behind a nebula. As part of what At-Aten's government refers to as the Great Work. It's not the first time that's in Skeleton Crew that we've heard this phrase evoked. Fern's mother, Farah, tells Wim and Neil's class that their aptitude tests are designed to help children find their career paths as part of the great work, in so much as serving the planet of At-Attans at large. So serving this great work for the rest of your life. That's the purpose of all these people on the planet, but they don't even know what the purpose is. But this is the first time that somebody makes an explicit connection between the term and the intent behind the jewels of the Old Republic, and in doing so invokes a particular intriguing concept from long ago in Star Wars chronologically, but a little more recently in our own. So, like, this was released recently, i.e., the High Republic, but in Star Wars timeline, it was a long, long time ago. So, what is the great work? Introducing Chancellor Lina Soh. Wait. We're still celebrating 100K over here, so this will be like Chancellor Lina Soh's intro music, like the WWE, you know? Okay, so ready? Introducing, standing at maybe 2 inches, 5 centimeters tall, with 2 cool-looking lions next to her, Chancellor Lina Soh. There you go. All right. So Chancellor Lina Soh. The act of describing a governmental project as one of the Republic's great works becomes a prominent part of the world building for the High Republic publishing initiative depicted of the golden age of the Galactic Republic approximately 200 years before the events of the Star Wars prequel trilogy. So it's about 250, I believe, is the first phase. The second phase is like hundreds of years before that. And the third phase, I think, is only 200 years before. So it's in that sort of weird time period there, where the Galactic Republic is at their peak, the height of the Republic, hence High Republic. The great works were the pet project of their then current Supreme Chancellor, Lina Soh. If she didn't get the greatest introduction of channel history right there. And in terms designated to particularly grand projects undertaken by the Republic to advance the expansionary goals and elevate its status as the de facto state of power in the galaxy. So like I said, they were trying to expand into the outer rim and I guess the sort of mid-rim and the outer rim and control the entire galaxy, especially with the presence of the Nihil, who are the bad guys at the time in the galaxy. What a great work could be varied. The construction of interstellar comms relays or the Starlight Beacon, this massive space station on the edge of the Republic space in collaboration with the Jedi Order. So that was this big space station that eventually gets kaboom, you know, goes bye-bye. But those are some of the great works that Lina Soh was trying to create. Now, how does that connect to what's going on in Skeleton Crew? Well, we'll get to it. The discovery of effective cultivations of Bacta as a medicine aid. So that happened in the High Republic era. So all these Bacta tanks we see with Luke Skywalker bathing in one, Darth Vader bathing in one, Boba Fett bathing in one, all the Bacta tanks that we see in Star Wars, those weren't around for that long. They're a fairly new thing in the Star Wars galaxy, actually, using Bacta water as medical aid. That was something that was introduced in the High Republic as one of those great works. So all these innovations in the galaxy, those are considered great works from Chancellor Lina Soh in the High Republic era. It's not just one thing. It's a whole list of things. Brokering a peace treaty between the Corran and the Mon Calamari on that same water planet that we see in the Clone Wars. And even, perhaps most interestingly, in connection to the jewels, environmental restoration of worlds on the brink of climate change induced disasters. That's kind of in reference to Tatooine, Mustafar, Camino, a flooded planet, a lava planet, a desert planet that were all once thriving Earth-like planets. I don't know if maybe you guys don't know this. Tell me in the chat if you do. Give me one if you knew this. But Tatooine was once covered in an ocean, was covered in forests and oceans. It looked like Earth. Same with Kamino. Kamino wasn't always underwater. Same with Mustafar. Mustafar was once a very Earth-like planet with forests and this thriving life. Now Mustafar is a little bit different. There's this whole god-like thing, legend story, but that they were in love and then they tore the planet apart and turns into lava. It's a whole thing. But those planets weren't always the way that they are. Things changed over time. And maybe that's why we saw the list of those planets from the Skeleton Crew trailer from months ago. Remember when we saw a list of Kamino, Hoth, which another one, Hoth is completely snow? Maybe that was one. It froze because something happened. I don't know. Mustafar, Kamino, Hoth, Tatooine. I forget what other planets were on that list. Bespin, where they only live in the sky. Maybe something happened on the surface. What other planets were on that list? Do we remember, chat? Mandalore turned to glass. Oh, no, even before Mandalore turned to glass, the whole freaking planet was a wasteland. I think we might be onto something here, chat. So this, one of the great works from the High Republic era, was this environmental restoration of worlds on the brink of climate change disasters, including Tatooine, who turned into a desert, Mustafar turned into a lava place, Kamino fully flooded, Hoth fully frozen, Bespin, something happened on the surface that they had to move to the sky, Mandalore turned into a wasteland. All those planets. Now, how this has to do with the 8 planets that they put into hiding, not too sure yet. But this does imply that the list of planets that we saw in this latest 3rd episode of Kamino, Tatooine, Mustafar, etc., could have been those planets that they were working on for the great works that we hear in Skeleton Crew in the High Republic era. Pretty interesting. But let's keep reading. Well, all these projects are largely... wait, what? Oh, benevolent ones, sorry. The brand of them as Soh's great works drew some ire within the Republic's Senate. Sure. And among her allies in the Jedi. So that's kind of why it almost went away, but it became her most important thing. And as we know, chancellors don't last very long. Unless you're Palpatine. Unless you're Palpatine. But there's a possibility that these great works that we're talking about in this specific paragraph, Lina Soh, the Chancellor, the Supreme Chancellor of the Republic at the time, or the High Republic at the time, she could have been the one to put in these great works, and one of those great works could have been to hide those 8 planets from the rest of the galaxy for some specific reason. What that reason is, we have no idea. Who destroyed them? We have no idea. And what happened to the other 8? We don't know. What those planets were? Who knows? Who knows? Now, there's one theory that could come up about this. The bad guys during the time of the High Republic era were these people called the Nihil, or the Nihil, as I call them, because it's spelled Nihil, Nihil, I think. Nihil. But some of the audiobooks, they call them either the Nihil or the Nihil. But we're going to go with Nihil for now. So the Nihil are these space marauders. They look like pirates, but they're not pirates. They just scavenge the galaxy, and I should say they just destroy the galaxy. They have control of hyperspace lanes, thanks to Lor San Tekka. Do you guys remember Lor San Tekka? Give me the one into the chat if you know who Lor San Tekka is from The Force Awakens. Remember the opening scene of The Force Awakens where Kylo Ren goes to find the map to Luke Skywalker, and Lor San Tekka has that map and gives it to Poe Dameron and BB-8? Yes? Lor? So Lor San Tekka. I know, this is all over the place. So if you don't know the High Republic, I'm going to put it as simply as possible, okay? Lor San Tekka worked alongside of Luke Skywalker to create his Jedi Temple. Now, Lor is not Force sensitive, but he worships the Force. So he is sort of, he helps Luke Skywalker along with building his Jedi temple. Simple enough. Lore's ancestor, I don't remember what her name is, if somebody could help me out in the chat, but Lore Santeca, his like great-grandmother or great-great-great-great-great-grandmother, I don't remember her name now, but it's something Santeca. She helped the Nihil against her will because she knew hyperspace lanes. The Santecas, they're the ones who sort of mapped out the entire galaxy of hyperspace lanes. Okay? But the same guy who helped Luke Skywalker build his Jedi temple, his family mapped all the hyperspace lanes in the galaxy. The ones that are safe for travel, the ones that aren't safe for travel. And the Nihil, the bad guys of the High Republic era, kidnapped that Santeca, not familiar with her first name, but that Santeca, and they used her to use the unsafe hyperspace lanes to jump into other hyperspace lanes and just destroy Republic ships. Destroy the Jedi, destroy Republic ships, destroy everything in their paths. That's as simple as I can make it. That's what the Nihil do, and that's how they do it. So they don't have the Force. Their leader has a lightsaber because he stole it from a Jedi. That's a whole nother thing for a whole nother time. But their leader is the Eye, and his name is Marchion Ro. Again, you don't need to know any of this, but the Nihil are just space marauders. They just destroy everything in their path. So let's say they happened to find these 8 planets, these 8 mysterious planets, and destroy them. That's a possibility. And maybe At-Aten was one that just remained hidden. It seems like we could be cooking up something here. Tell me what you think of the chat. Are they canon or Legends beings? This is canon. All this is canon. Everything that I just said for the last 20 minutes is canon information. Canon Star Wars. Yes. What's up, Connor? The Nihil are canon. I'll give you a picture of what the Nihil looks so you can kind of put a face to the name. Star Wars Nihil. The Nihil. So they just look like sort of badass pirates in a way. This is 2 of them. This is the leader of them. So this is 2 of them. That's kind of what they look like. All the different ones. They're all different species because they're all just a group of marauders. But this is their leader, Marchion Ro. They call him the Eye or the Great Eye or something like that because, of course, he has one eye. So he's their leader. They're pretty badass. It's hard to make a villain that can sort of compete with the Sith. It's almost impossible. So at the time where there's no Sith for 1,000 years, how are you going to make a villain bad enough? Well, you give them powers. And the power is to control the hyperspace lanes. That's pretty impressive and pretty powerful. So they can sneak up on the Jedi when they least expect it because they can jump into a hyperspace lane and just absolutely destroy them. Yeah. Yeah. Aggressively Relaxing, what's up, says, I bet Tatooine ends up being one of those destroyed planets. I don't know. Because, all right, here's the thing. Kim says that these planets were destroyed long ago. But she doesn't say that they know which planets they are. But it would make sense that they would, no? All right, let me ask this. As Aggressively Relaxing suggests, let's put it this way. If the other 8 planets that were destroyed, that were found and destroyed, happen to be, like they explain them to be, Tatooine, Mustafar, Bespin, Camino, Hoth, 4 other ones or 3 other ones. If they say that those are those planets that were hidden and got found and destroyed and that changed their entire sort of climate on the planet, Tatooine turns into a desert. Hoth turns into a frozen wasteland. Mustafar turns into lava pits. Would you like that? Giving all those planets sort of a backstory of their own connecting to that Great Works project, these 8 hidden planets, connecting to Skeleton Crew, connecting to possibly the Old Republic or the High Republic. Would you like that? It wouldn't change what Tatooine is. It would just give it more of a little bit of a backstory. Just a little bit. Would we like that theory? Yes, would love it. Interesting. Well, then you have to put into effect the natives there. Think about Tatooine specifically. You have the Tusken Raiders. Now, we don't know how long the Tusken Raiders, how long it would take for like people to turn into Tusken Raiders if they were in the desert wasteland. But Kim does say they were destroyed long ago. So if long ago was maybe 200 years ago, is that long enough to sort of create a species or a civilization like the Tusken Raiders in the deserts? Or would it have to be longer? Would it have to be thousands of years of evolution to be able to live in those desert climates? Not to mention creating animals like a bantha. That takes hundreds, if not thousands of years. So maybe you are talking Old Republic time now. I can think of a group who would absolutely hate that. Well, you're going to have, whatever the explanation is, whatever happens in the Skeleton Crew show, you're going to have a group of Star Wars fans who absolutely hate it. Yeah. How long ago is long ago in owl years? I don't know. We don't even know what an owl year is in Star Wars. Owls aren't really a popular species in the Star Wars galaxy. No. Perhaps the Tusken Raiders were byproducts of the environmental changes on Tatooine. Maybe, but then you got to look at like the bantha. The bantha is this big furry elephant. You don't evolve to get that sort of fur coat unless you've been in the desert for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years. You know? The Sand People and the Jawas both evolved due to Tatooine, and that's all. Let's take it way back. I agree with that, but there's a possibility, because Kim does mention long ago, there's a possibility that we're talking tens of thousands of years ago, these planets were hidden. Old Republic. I don't know. I think it's far-fetched to suggest that these hidden planets are Tatooine, Mustafar, Bespin, Camino, etc. But it's not out of the realm of possibility. That's for damn sure. But let's go back to this. If those 8 planets were destroyed, is that where our kids and Jod are off to now? The episode ends with them blasting into hyperspace. We believe that Kim found the coordinates to this planet, and they took the coordinates. They jump into hyperspace. But I don't think, no, I pretty much know, I wouldn't say that. I don't think, I'm about 80% sure, that we are not going to At-Atten next episode. Like, the kids are not going back home for at least a couple more episodes. I would guess episode 6. So episode 4 is not going to bring us home to At-Atten. So where are they going? Where are they off to? I mentioned this in the breakdown video as well, and I missed it during the live stream, the watch party. But I mentioned it in the breakdown. When the kids escape with Jod at the beginning of the episode, they escape Port Borgo. Jaleel White's character Gunter goes up to Brutus and says, "Should we chase them? Should we track them down?" And Brutus says, "No." Well, he doesn't say yes. I don't know if he specifically says no, but he says, "I want all the bounty hunters after them. I want a bounty on their heads. Not just Jod, but the kids too." So the line in the trailer that changed from murderous pirates to murderous bounty hunters has now become true. And we will be seeing murderous bounty hunters in this Skeleton Crew series, which absolutely blows my mind. Because no, I don't think they're going to At-Atten at the end of this episode. They're probably going to some different planet that Kim thought was going to be At-Atten, but it's not. And 2, the next episode might be the first of many bounty hunters chasing down these kids, murderous bounty hunters. And when we talk murderous bounty hunters, you got to talk about some famous bounty hunters in Star Wars. You got to talk about Bosk, who should be alive at this time, Dengar, Forloom, Zuckuss, IG-88, Boba Fett, not really, because he's kind of ruling on Tatooine now. Fennec Shand, again, kind of ruling on Tatooine right now. So maybe not them. Din Djarin. I know he's working for the New Republic now, but he could still be doing his bounty hunting thing on the side. And maybe he hears about these kids who are in trouble, and instead of going to bounty hunt them, he goes to save them like he did with Grogu. Possibly. I think the Skeleton Crew show is still holding a ton of secrets. Yes, secrets about At-Atin, secrets about the Old Republic, secrets about Jod Na Nawood, but I'm talking secrets of like Bosk showing up or Grogu and Din, like that kind of big holy crap moment of murderous bounty hunters. Like that could be something enormous in episode 4, 5, and 6. Maybe even 7 and 8 too. Who knows? But that line that got changed from murderous pirates to murderous bounty hunters has now become true and a reality. We will be seeing bounty hunters in this Skeleton Crew series. And what's crazy is in those trailers, when it said murderous bounty hunters, it only showed Jod Na Nawood, at the time Captain Silvo, in the cool mask that we see him in episode 1. Meaning, we have no idea who those bounty hunters are going to be. And they're keeping it that way for a reason. Whoever these bounty hunters that will be hunting down these kids are going to be extremely important. Whoops. I did not mean to press that. This is not going to be one of the bounty hunters. It's not going to be me, Samantha, and Hayden Christensen. Sorry, guys. I did not mean to click that. What I meant to say was this is truly...
This is where the fun begins.
That's what I meant to say. Because murderous bounty hunters, seeing all those different cool characters that could appear, it's going to be so damn cool. I can't wait. But tell me who you think could be hunting down these kids in the next couple episodes as bounty hunters in the comment section, or in the chat, I should say, right now. Okay. Oh, Darth Plagueis lives with a very generous $5 holla. God damn. Darth Plagueis, I appreciate that quite a bit. Says this show just keeps getting better. It really does. Like episode 1 was great. Episode 2 got better. Episode 3 might have got even better than that. So if we keep the climb from here, episode 8 might be the greatest thing we've ever seen in our lives. I don't think that will be the case, but hopefully it stays consistent with this good, great, greater. That'd be nice. It would be nice, but I appreciate the $5 holla. I really, really do. Super chats, memberships keep the lights on over here, so I appreciate it. And he follows up by saying, who do you think Jod really is? I don't know. I mean, we could speculate about it till the cows come home, and we will. Well, we will. Because I don't own a cow, and it won't be coming home anytime soon. But who is Jod? He makes it pretty clear that he's not a Jedi in episode 3, so we can kind of cross that one out. But even still, we can't, because he might have been a Jedi at one point. He's just not one now. It's like Ahsoka Tano saying, I am no Jedi. You were once. And that might be what Jod is saying here too. But I still don't, I'm not on the side of him being a Jedi who survived Order 66. Just not. I don't know why, but he's not. I don't know. I really have no idea. Chat, any ideas? Who is Jod Na Nawood? Mr. Gray Jedi? He's a Gray Jedi? He could be a Gray Jedi, but the question becomes then, who did he get trained by? Who trained him? He is a new Jedi. Yes, they did talk about this before the show aired, that there's going to be a new kind of Jedi. But what I think that's sort of just referring to is that Jod now is a sort of new type of Jedi, just like Ahsoka Tano, when she left the Jedi Order, became a new type of Jedi. You know? Yeah, no. Does anyone else hope that Crimson Jack has ascendant tech like Dr. Aphra? Ooh. That'd be kind of cool. Yeah. I like that kids were chased by bounty hunters. What do you mean? Well, they haven't been yet. Oh, they will be. I'm doing good, Lee. How are you? I'm doing good. Jod could be an Inquisitor survivor or an escaped Inquisitor. Well, there are a few Inquisitors that we haven't yet seen their faces, put it that way. But of those, there's that weird owl-looking one that Ahsoka fights in Tales of the Jedi, and well, his head gets cut off, so it can't be him. Marok, but again, Marok dies in Ahsoka, so it can't be him either. Could Jod be a surviving Inquisitor? Maybe. He doesn't give off those vibes, but maybe. It is possible that he survived Order 66 and then just went off to become a pirate. Many fans talk about it like it's Peter Quill from Guardians of the Galaxy, Star-Lord, who, as a kid, gets taken off of Earth by these Ravengers, and then he becomes a Ravenger. Could be something like that. He survives Order 66, gets picked up by a pirate, and then just becomes a pirate. He is just a Force-sensitive one. Now, it's unclear whether or not the other pirates know that he's Force-sensitive. That hasn't been revealed at all yet. But for some reason, it makes me... we're led to believe they don't, because why would they put him in a cell where he could easily escape? So, yeah, I don't think so. I don't know what's happening with Jod, but I think I figured out the planet thing. Please tell me. I think they are known planets from the list that we deciphered. The ninth one being at Aden. Somebody's got to bring up the list again, because that list was very important. Actually, let me see if I can find it in the episode. That'd be pretty cool. Let's see if I can do that. All right, let's make sure this is yeah, okay, we're good. Oh, look at that. Okay. So talk about Can we just back up for a second? Talk about introducing a new badass character. This Kim character is so damn cool. And I've said it a million times, but Star Wars in general, but specifically lately Star Wars, Lucasfilm within the last 5 years, since Disney Plus kind of began back in 2019, Star Wars has done one thing very, very well, and that is introduce insanely cool new characters. Just unbelievable. Look at the Skeleton Crew show so far. Not only the 4 main kids, and everybody loves Nihil already, Jod Na Nawood, Brutus, this Kim character now, SM-33. Let's look past Skeleton Crew, shall we? You got Din frickin' Djarin and Grogu, and I mean, it doesn't get more iconic than those two. They're getting their own 3 seasons of a television show and a movie, possibly trilogy. Come on. You got characters like Cal Kestis. You got the whole Ghost crew of Ezra, Kanan, Hera, Zeb, Chopper, Sabine, etc. It just never ends with introducing incredible character after incredible new character in this new Star Wars world we live in. It's just great. I've said it once, and I'll say it again. It is the best time to be a Star Wars fan right now. Say what you will about the status of the validity, I guess, of the Star Wars fandom. How, I guess, volatile is the word I was looking for before. How volatile it is, how crazy people are. They're fighting with each other online right now, I can guarantee it. But even with that, this is the best time to be a Star Wars fan. Absolutely. We are watching an incredible new Star Wars show right now. We are getting hyped up for Andor Season 2 next year. The Mandalorian and Grogu movie, Ahsoka Season 2, and who knows what is beyond that. Who knows? Dawn of the Jedi, a Rey trilogy, who knows? But you can also go back and watch everything else that already came before. So you can sit here and speculate what's to come, or you can go back and watch everything that came before. It's insane. Well, let me see if I can find this. Okay, so when he's about to blast the... Yeah, so it's about right here. So Jod realizes that Kim is stalling for the Republic to show up, the new Republic to show up. Which, by the way, wasn't everybody in their moms thinking that thinking that Carson Teva was going to be the one in the cockpit of that X-wing? I was still baffled that it wasn't. Honestly, it was just some random new guy, Clark Kent, like Superman. What? I don't know. Pretty weird. So I'm watching Kim and Crimson Jack fight it out right now. But let's trying to find the specific scene where he blasts the list. So he takes the thing, looks at the kids, says, "Let's go." There it is. Oh, I am so good at pausing. All right, let's do this. So this is the list we're talking about here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 planets on this list. 8. There were 8 planets that blew up or got destroyed. Not blew up, got destroyed, while Aten was the one that remained. Is this the list of the other 8 planets? It was not really clarified whether or not they know what those other 8 planets are. I don't know. But we have deciphered this list before. Shout out to your pal Joe and Mace Cameron, who I believe did this together. But I forget what the specific list was. Actually, Joe, could you send this to the Discord again? This list, if you still have it. That'd be nice. But I believe the list is something along the lines of, and not in any particular order, Tatooine, Mustafar, Bespin, Hoth. That one's probably Hoth because it's only 4 letters. Mandalore. Forget what else was on this. I forget what else was on this. But all 8 of those planets have a history of being destroyed in some way or another. Yes, that seems to be the theory right now. And then 8 plus 1 is 9, and the math is mathing. Could it be Aten? Well, there's only 8 on this list, and they're looking for the 9th one, I suppose. Yeah. Wasn't that a list of planets that were hiding potentially behind gas or something else? Well, yes and no. We think that all the planets were hiding behind gas, and that's how they were hidden. But Kim doesn't realize that until Nihil tells her. Until Nihil describes the nebula around the planet, she had no idea that the other planets were surrounded by nebula. Maybe they weren't. Maybe they were hidden in other ways. And the only reason that Aten wasn't found was because of the nebula, and all the other 8 planets were just maybe erased from the maps, erased from the archives. That's a possibility. For sure. Ryan says, I think they're going to end up on Peridia, and that's how Ahsoka and Sabine are going to get back home. I disagree. I don't think this is going to be going to that new galaxy. I think what you posted it. Okay, hang on. Let's go check this out. While we do, I'll explain what I mean. I think they made it clear in the Ahsoka series. Yes, perfect. Okay, here we go. They made it clear in the Ahsoka series that wait, what? There we go. That getting to that new galaxy is extremely difficult. Like you have to hop in a Purgle's mouth and be able to wield the Force, or you have to go in the Eye of Sion, which was clearly extremely difficult to create. So I don't think it's going to be an easy task to get from one galaxy to the other. That was made very clear in Ahsoka. So I don't think these kids are going to be blasting off to another galaxy in Peridia. I don't think so. Yeah. I feel like this is 9 ABY, the same year as the first season of Mando. No, this is after all that. Skeleton Crew. The good thing about the Mandalorian or the Mandoverse so far is that it's been in order. Mandalorian season 1 was 9 ABY, and then after that, in chronological order in the Star Wars timeline, it all goes one after the other. So it's Mando season 1, Mando season 2, then the Book of Boba Fett, then Mando season 3, then Ahsoka, then Skeleton Crew. All in order from start to finish. That's what's great. You don't have to jump around the timeline and go, oh, when was this? Was this before that? Was that before this? Was this before that? No, it's all in order right in front of your faces. It's perfect. All right, but here's the list. Brought to you by, oh, wait, this list is not good. This list is not good. It goes 6 for 8. It goes 6 for 8. So shout out to your pal Joe for doing this. Number 1 on the list is Mustafar. Then we got Mandalore, Tatooine, Hoth, Kamino, Bespin. 6 for 6 on planets that could have been destroyed, or at least, destroyed by climate, I guess. Mandalore being a wasteland, Hoth being a snowy land, Tatooine being a desert, Mustafar being lava, Kamino being water, Bespin being whatever the hell's on the surface. But then you have Coruscant and Corellia, which kind of don't fit the mold here. They don't fit the equation. Maybe she just put in Coruscant because the kids studied it in school, but Alderaan's not on this list. Corellia's, as far as I'm aware, it's just a normal planet. I don't know. Maybe a wrinkle in our theory. Oh, Rose with the very generous $10 holla. God damn. I appreciate that, Rose, quite a bit. Says, I think KB's medical needs will make getting home urgent, like her mom mentioned. I don't think she had medical needs. I think she said that because they lost connection to her headset or whatever that was. Unless I missed it. Did she have medical needs? I don't remember that being the you know. Yeah, I don't remember that. Qui-Gon's Ghost. Where does it say 9ABY? What are you looking at? Darth Drew. Oh my God. What's up, Darth Drew? Congrats on your channel growing, and I'm loving Skeleton Crew. That's awesome to hear, and thank you. Thank you very much. Love to see those OGs come back. We've missed you, Darth Drew. Yeah. Subtitles said that she had medical needs. Okay, maybe that is significant then. Maybe KB needs to come home ASAP because she's got something. She'll die. She'll die. Health stats. Her life monitor. Yeah, no, they just lost connection to the life monitor though. You know that that's not. It didn't shut off. They just lost connection to it. It's like everybody nowadays has that stupid frickin' Life 360. They want to be tracked everywhere they go. It's just KB's Life 360. I'm outing everybody for using that. Stop tracking each other. God. Yeah. But Rose went on in her super chat, which is very generous, to say, Jod then must choose B/N. Oh, between, sorry. His own interests and being selfless. Interesting. So you think he's going to have to choose between saving the kids, KB, because of health issues, and his own desire to find the treasure? But then who does he choose? I think Jod is going to be stabbing these kids in the back at some point in this season, and then he'll come back around to save the day. Like I mentioned a couple streams ago, I think he's going to go on this Han Solo type of arc where Han Solo takes the money and runs at the end of A New Hope, and then at the very end, he comes in and woohoo, comes in and saves the day, saves Luke, blow up the Death Star, celebration, medal ceremony, all that stuff. So I think Jod is going to stab these kids in the back, leave them out to dry somewhere, or leave them out to die, I should say, and then in the end, come back and save them. Definitely a possibility. Indeed. Please do a Teak impression, the wee ferryman. Teak impression. Let's see if I can find one first. A Teak impression, you say? How about this? Did you guys know that the Teak was voiced by Sam Witwer? That's pretty cool. But let's see. The Teak Skeleton Crew. The Teak. Let's see if we can get find a good one here. I can't find any actually. You look up the Teak Skeleton Crew and all it is just breakdowns. I want a Teak impression here. All right, I guess we're going to have to settle with this. This is from the Endor movie back in 1984. What? Hang on. How am I supposed to make this noise, chat? Can you guys even hear that? It's very quiet for some reason in this video. But he's making just weird, like, squirrel noises or some shit. That was pretty good. Heil. Heil. That's my teak impression, and I'm sticking to it. I appreciate it, Rose. I really, really do. Of course, super chats, memberships, keep the lights on over here, and I will do any Star Wars impression of your choosing for any amount of super chat. I say that with a very, very loosely. Okay. Yeah, it sounds like whining. It does. It really does. What is the other planet? What is the other planets, or what are the other planets that were destroyed with the Eliminator? The Eliminator was a weapon by the Celestials, but was eventually taken over by the Sith. Yeah, but you're talking way, 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 way before. You're talking, when would that even be? Let's look it up. The Eliminator sounds like a Doofenshmirtz invention. The Eliminator. All right, the Eliminator. Let's see. I need a time frame here. I need a time frame. You're not talking about the Star Destroyer, are you? No, you're talking about the other one. Wait, what? Yeah, no, that's the start. No, this is no. The Eliminator. Aha. Nope, that's not it either. Oh, I think I found it. I think I found it. I need a time period on this thing. Darth Nihilus. Oh. No time. All right. The Eliminator was a titanic weapon built by the Celestials many millennia ago. Okay, many millennia ago. That's the time period enough. And acquired by the Sith in secret tens of millennia prior to the Battle of Yavin. So tens of millennia prior. Tens of thousands of years of at least before. Interesting. If they were to tie into this, it would be absolutely insane. Yeah. Listen to this. The planet had the power to destroy an entire star system. Not a planet, an entire star system. Is it canon? No, it is not. It is not. For now. It is not. A lot of that stuff, though, from early on Old Republic or early on Dawn of the Jedi stuff is not canon. And what's crazy is that we're going to the Old Republic, or we're going to the Dawn of the Jedi very, very soon. James Mangold is already in the process of writing the first draft of the movie. So we're going to that time period at some point. So could all that stuff become canon? Yeah. Very, very soon, actually. Absolutely. Yeah. James says, okay, I get it. I mentioned a clone of the Emperor, and not when... And I know that's not really a good theory. What? Yeah, I don't think Palpatine's going to be involved in any of this, but yeah. What is the other planet that was destroyed? Oh, yeah, I just read that. Rose says, do the impression of the Teak as the ferryman. I tried to find it, Rose, sorry, but that doesn't exist yet online. Yeah, it's too early and new. It's too early and new. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Did we even finish this? We didn't even finish this article. Let's go back to the article that talked about the great works and the Supreme Chancellor Lina Soh, shall we? All right, let's read this. So, are the High Republic great works and AT-ATN connected? There's definitely a case to be made that the jewels fit into something akin to the great works we saw in the High Republic material. But the jury is still out on whether or not that means that Atton's secrecy was something established during the time period, or if the world's location has been for even longer than that. So it remains unclear how long this planet has been hidden away. Whether it's the High Republic or even older, we don't know yet. Emphasis on yet. It's very intriguing, at least, that while evoking the term feels like a deliberate nod to the High Republic. The term High Republic has yet to be used in relation to it on Skeleton Crew. So they're not going to call it the High Republic because it's no longer the height of the Republic. It is now the Old Republic. So anything that came before is, in fact, now going to be considered the Old Republic. Yeah. So far in the show, people who only ever described Atton as being more broadly connected to the Old Republic rather than specifically the High Republic. And even that's vague. What is old in the context? We know at very least that Atton's populace, if not government so far, is unaware to the events of the Galactic Civil War, as they had no idea that Alderaan had blown up. But is old the roughly 240 years since the golden age of the High Republic? Is 250 to 200 or 300 years ago? Is that old enough for you? Or is it thousands of years? Or is it even older than that? Perhaps into a time period the wider chronologically that is referred to as the Old Republic, both in the expanded universe and current Star Wars canon. Has Atton been hidden for hundreds of years, or perhaps thousands of years? It's all sort of just a big what if and what and why until it's finally revealed in this show. But tell me what you think in the comments, or in the chat, I should say. Do you think that this great works is referring to the same one of the Supreme Chancellor Lina Soh of the High Republic? Or do you think that this Atton planet and the other 8 planets along with it that were hidden away by somebody for some reason happened in the Old Republic thousands of years before? Tell me what you think in the chat. Old Republic or High Republic? Actually, let's poll this up. Let's put a poll up, shall we? I'm going to end this one. Let's see where you guys were at with this third episode. Wow. This is what you like to see. With over 120 votes, which is the most we've had on a poll in quite some time. What did you think of episode 3 of Skeleton Crew? 67% of you loved it, 28% liked it, 3% said meh, and 1% hated it. That's what you like to see. That's over 96% of you either liked or loved the episode. That's incredible. All right, let's put up a new poll. What is the Old Republic? What the hell? In Skeleton Crew. I can't type right now. Referring to the actual, or we'll start with the High Republic. The High Republic and Chancellor Lina Soh's great works and stuff like that, or the Old, with a capital O, Republic. What do you think? Are we going all the way back to thousands and thousands of years ago, or just a few hundred years ago? What do we think, chat? And while you vote on that poll, can we get some good cups follow orders in the chat, please? Bumpa! I don't think anything. Well, that's a problem. You might want to get that checked out. Mystic Troll says the High Republic is technically the Old Republic post-Sith Wars. They call it the High Republic for publishing and differentiation for the readers. True to an extent. I mean, in the Star Wars timeline, you have a different title for that time period. Like when you look at the Star Wars timeline, you have the different eras. You have the era of the Dawn of the Jedi now, the Old Republic, then the High Republic, then the actually don't know what the prequel era is called. Hang on, let's look up the Star Wars timeline. Star Wars timeline. Because there's a like official. Oh, here we go. The Star Wars eras from StarWars.com. So look at this. You got the Dawn of the Jedi, then the Old Republic, then the High Republic, the Fall of the Jedi, which is the prequel era, the Reign of the Empire, which is from the end of the prequels to Return of the Jedi. Actually, no, it's not. It's still A New Hope, because that's the Age of Rebellion. Then the Age of Rebellion is till the end of Return of the Jedi, which starts the New Republic era, Rise of the First Order, and then the New Jedi Order, which is nothing in it yet. But when you look at this on this timeline, the Old Republic is the longest era by far. It's tens of thousands of years long. When like this era is a couple hundred, this is probably at most 50. This at most is 20. This at most is like 4. This is probably 20. This is probably 4. Like all these are very different time periods. Let's actually see what it says under the Old Republic. The Old Republic. The Republic is founded amongst the worlds of the galactic core, and the Jedi Order emerges to protect it. A schism within the Jedi leads to the creation of the Sith in this epic era. That's it. So in the biggest era of the Star Wars timeline, this is the only description on StarWars.com. Obviously, because there's no content in canon right now in that era. Dawn of the Jedi has nothing, by the way. Then you have the High Republic era, which has all the High Republic books and the Young Jedi Adventures and the Acolyte. Then the Fall of the Jedi, which is the Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, in those 2 animated shows. The Reign of the Empire is pretty loaded, because it's got the Tales of the Empire, Bad Batch, the Jedi games, Kenobi, Solo, Andor. Oh, it even added Vader Immortal in there, Rogue One. Then you got the original trilogy. All this stuff with Skeleton Crew added in that era too. There you go. The biggest era, or at least the most content in that era, is this Reign of the Empire. Pretty cool. Hopefully someday this will be the most filled out era, with even more than this. Trilogy on trilogy on trilogy on trilogy on TV show on TV show on TV show. Someday. A man can dream. A man can dream. Robert, what's up? Hey, Mike, taking a break from shoveling while listening to this show. Last night, I was looking at the timeline referencing the guide in the High Republic section that says the Republic when referencing to it. Well, so does the Old Republic, which we just looked at. It says the Republic is founded, which they would refer to it as the Republic. And here they refer to it as the Republic too. Oh, you guys can't see that. It says the Republic down there, and it also says the Republic here. Obviously, during that time, they're not going to call it the Old Republic because, well, it's not. It's the Republic. But how much snow you guys got over there? Robert? Shoveling sucks. Yeah. Yeah. Most of the time when we're saying Old Republic, we are using it the same way that Obi-Wan uses it in A New Hope when he talks about the Old Republic. Skeleton Crew showrunner John Watts tells Inverse. Yeah, we talked about that before. And that would be inferring the prequel trilogy. But that's not the truth here. That's not what is going on. He lied to us. Because we know it's not the prequel trilogy, that's for sure. Because the Chancellor at the time was Palpatine, and we know that he wouldn't have done that. Or at least we know it didn't happen. We know 8 planets weren't found and destroyed from being hidden. At least not yet. King Shadow, what's up? You guys want to see something really cool? You guys want to see something really cool? Give me a 1 to the chat if you want to see something really cool. I mean, hopefully you don't say no, but we'll see. When is the Fifth Element watch party?
I got a bad feeling about this.
No! No. Okay, you guys want to see something cool? All right. So for reaching 100K, which, by the way, we reached 100K, if you didn't know, and it was awesome. But I had quite the celebration afterwards. We threw a party, we ate cake, we ate Chinese food. It was fantastic. But I got some pretty cool gifts, so I want to show you guys. Now, the only reason this isn't hung up in my background yet is because my background is black. Now, that will change eventually once we upgrade the studio here. But for now, it remains unhung, and it's pretty dang cool. So if you can't tell, it's the outline of the Death Star. It's metal, by the way. Full metal. I don't know how to prove it to you, but it's metal. And it says a guy who loves Star Wars across it. Pretty badass. Pretty badass. That's pretty cool. So it will hang up in the background eventually, but right now, like, you wouldn't even know it's there. Oh, wait, maybe you would. Huh. Maybe I'll put it up there. But we'll leave it here for now. And the other, it's just one. That's just one of the cool things. There's two things. There's cool two things. Two cool things. And this one's pretty awesome. I mean, come on. It even says a guy who loves Star Wars on the bottom. This thing is awesome. Is that not the coolest thing you've ever seen? So, yeah. The resemblance is uncanny. Pretty cool. Pretty dang cool. So, that goes right there. Pretty cool. Oh, no. Selena says, I'm not sure if I can keep watching if you're a Sith. I've been Darth Salty Nut Roll this entire... This is just, like, this is my Darth Salty Nut Roll outfit. This is what I wear to bed every night. I don't know what to tell you. Sorry. Pretty cool. Yeah. Pretty cool. Okay. Let's get back on topic, shall we? Let's get back on topic. Yeah. All right, let's talk about Jod Na Nawood before we switch gears to the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, which we do have some news for, by the way. Let's talk about Jod Na Nawood. So we got our real introduction to him in this third episode. We obviously met him in episode 2, but this is really when we got to know him a little bit, whether or not he can be trusted, which obviously he can't be. He will stab these kids in the back at some point. But the question becomes, is he a Jedi or not? Now, the name Crimson Jack might be more significant than some people may think or may know. And let's read this. This comes from Screen Rant. They posted it about 23 hours ago. Let's read this. Is Jude Law, is his Jedi really the pirate Crimson Jack? Star Wars drops a surprising hint. We are still being lied to. Keep that in mind. And again, spoilers for episode 3 of Skeleton Crew. If you haven't watched episode 3 of Skeleton Crew, you might want to erase the last hour and 20 minutes of your brain. Okay. Not even a full day after the reveal that Jude Law's Jedi scoundrel Jod Na Nawood, which, by the way, guys, it's not Nawood like I've been saying for months now. It's Na Nawood. Is actually Crimson Jack in Star Wars Skeleton Crew. Star Wars has hinted that this may be yet another ruse from the untrustworthy Jod, the youngest member of Skeleton Crew's casts. The youngest. Yeah, I know I was right. Are still unsure, still aren't sure whether to trust Jod or not. Fern being the one who's like, we shouldn't trust him. Wim being like, what do you mean? He's a Jedi. Let's trust him immediately. You know? But unsure whether they should trust him or not. Something their droid SM-33 backs them up on because he doesn't like Jedi for some reason, which is interesting because we don't know much about SM-33. We don't know how old he is or anything like that. I don't know. Why would he not like Jedi? Why would he even have any sort of feeling for a Jedi. He's a droid, you know? Interesting. Clearly, Star Wars wants audiences to feel the same way about Jod, despite who his old friend may recognize and identify him as, Crimson Jack. In the Skeleton Crew episode guide on StarWars.com discussing Jod going by Crimson Jack, a pirate who was first introduced in the earliest Marvel Star Wars comic back in 1977. Wow, really? The first he was first introduced in the earliest Marvel Star Wars comic back in 1977. I did not know that. I knew it was old, but not that old. The caption of the entry, however, suggests that Jod still isn't actually Crimson Jack. It begins by introducing Jod's alias of Crimson Jack, before reminding viewers that Law's Jod looks nothing like Crimson Jack from his modern iteration. So, is it going to show Crimson Jack? No. Okay, so this is Crimson Jack up here on the left. And obviously Jod or Jude Law does not look anything like that. Like, at all. Which can be seen in the Halcyon Legacy comic miniseries. Star Wars then teased that this might be because Jod has a habit of not being who he says he is. So he's taking this fake name of Crimson Jack, who is a character that does exist, but it's not him. He's just pretending to be him. Keep that in mind. We've already seen him take on the alias of Jod, or take on the alias of Captain Silvo, in the first episode as well. Essentially, what Crimson Jack being a mere alias for Jod means in the Skeleton Crew is thus far managing to pull off two major mysteries. The first is the mystery of the planet At-Aten itself and why it is being hidden from the rest of the galaxy, or at least why it continues to do so if it doesn't seem to have any actual treasure on it. And the second is clearly Jod's actual identity, as it's unclear whether this man is actually Captain Silvo, Jod Na Nawood, or Crimson Jack himself, given how many different names we've already gotten and we're only 3 episodes in. Crazy. So is Jod actually Crimson Jack, or is it just another alias? Of course, the main question audiences are now asking themselves is whether Crimson Jack is still the ruse of Jod's, or if it's actually his true identity. Given the fact that Kim identifies Jod as such, and the New Republic X-Wings recognize the name as a threat, it's clear that Crimson Jack has some kind of established history already. That means he's either gone by that name for quite some time and got into trouble with it, and it was his name, or he just stole that name as well. Interesting. Let's keep reading. What's still left to be seen is whether Jod is actually the one who made the history under that alias Crimson Jack, or if he simply is using it around Kim and a few others. Somebody else could have gotten the name Crimson Jack and used it to do bad things, and then Jod is the one who took that name after to sort of keep up those bad things, or at least not make him look like the guy who's doing them. Either way, this is certainly turning out to be a thrilling addition to Skeleton Crew's already well-established mystery. Still remaining is the question of Jod actually being a Jedi or not, as he can clearly wield the Force. That was made clear. Actually, some people still don't know if he actually wields the Force. Tell me in the chat right now, after seeing him not only grab the key in the second episode, but also do the Obi-Wan make a noise down the hallway thing from A New Hope, and turn off the lights in the ship. Did he use it at any other time? I think he used it one more time, but I forget what it was. He's used the Force multiple times now, and some people actually still think he doesn't wield the Force. What do we think, Chad? Is he Force sensitive? Created the noise. He did create a noise. Now here's the thing. I think he could have done the lights thing somehow with like a button or something, because all the kids were asleep. That makes sense. Making a noise down the hallway could have been a coincidence. Maybe. That would have been luck. Hearing somebody coming down the hall, that could have just been hearing somebody. I don't know. I think he definitely has the Force. But there's some people out there that still are holding out that he doesn't. He's essentially a grown-up broom boy. Interesting. The only problem with that theory, and the problem with the broom boy entirely, is being able to wield the Force is something hard to do. That was made very clear in Ahsoka, in the Clone Wars. You have to have training. Yes, you can have raw potential, raw Force sort of tells, like Anakin Skywalker being really good at pod racing when no other human is. That's the Force. But he's not really like using the Force to pick up an object or do anything. It's just heightening his senses. Pod race. So Broom Boy being able to grab that broom, maybe it was a coincidence. Maybe not. But being able to wield the Force, actually wield the Force at your own will, is something that takes an insane amount of training. And that was made very clear with Ahsoka and all these other things we've learned about the Force in recent Star Wars canon. So Jod must have had some sort of training. He's not just doing it on his own. That's for sure. But the question remains is who? Who trained him? Was it a Jedi? Was it a Sith? Was it somebody else? It's interesting. Zap, what's up, Zap? Or maybe he left the Order because he wanted to leave and saw the Order's corruption. So he could be like another Ahsoka type or a Dooku type. I don't know. Couldn't he just practice on his own for like 50 years? Yes, but he's only 50 years old. So he'd have to grow up a little bit. Sabine's always had the Force, though. Well, she's always had the Force. No. The Force flows through all beings, like we were explained last week. But to be able to wield the Force is a very difficult task, as Sabine had over a decade of training. Yeah. Jay says, he was a Padawan who survived Order 66, or Maul trained him. Maul training him would be pretty wild. I will say that. Yeah. But if he was a Padawan who survived Order 66, he could be like a Caleb Doom, Kanan Jarrus type, or a Balin Skoll type. That's possible. What if he stole some Jedi text from a pirate in a raid and then learned the Force through that? Now that would be pretty cool. If he just happened upon a treasure that had like, maybe even happened upon an old Jedi temple, and he found some ancient texts and learned from that, that would be pretty wild. That would be pretty wild. Yeah. Kind of like that theory quite a bit. All right. All right, we're going to come back to Skeleton Crew, but I don't want to forget to talk about this, and we're going to. I know we're going to. So let's talk about it now. The Mandalorian and Grogu movie has a lot of news, actually. Not only has it been finished filming, but also there are two casting things that have been confirmed. And they're pretty big. I'm sure you've all heard by now that Stinky the Hutt is coming back. Give me one into the chat if you've heard this. Stinky the Hutt is returning in Jeremy Allen White. Jeremy Allen White. The actor who's probably one of the biggest actors or coming up actors in Hollywood right now. He is the main character in The Bear. He was in, what is that freaking movie? I can't think of the name of it. But he's been in a lot recently, and he's becoming a very big actor in Hollywood right now. The Bear being the biggest show on Hulu and one of the biggest shows of the year on season 2 or 3 by now. But he has been cast to be the voice of Jabba the Hutt's son. So this is sort of the news article about it. Yes, that's right. Stinky the Hutt has returned. Now, Jabba the Hutt's son was first introduced in the Clone Wars movie all the way back in 2008? 7? 8? When was the Clone Wars movie, chat? 2008 or 2007. One of those years. But let's read this. Jeremy Allen White, this guy right here on the left. Not this one on the right, but this guy on the left. I know that they look very similar. I'm kidding. Kidding. Jeremy, I'm kidding. So when this article first released a couple days ago, I thought it was a joke. Somebody sent it to the Discord, and I thought it was a complete joke. I was like, what are we talking about here? That's funny. Jeremy Allen White, Jabba the Hutt's son. Hilarious. Good joke, but no, this is real. Jeremy Allen White has joined the Star Wars film The Mandalorian and Grogu as the voice of Jabba the Hutt's son, Rod of the Hutt, or Stinky. Variety has confirmed. The project marks the first major franchise for the actor following his Emmy-winning breakout role in the FX series The Bear. Plot details have been hard to come by for the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Everything has been kept quite secretive when it comes to this movie. They are not letting anything get out there because they know how important it is. But we know that Sigourney Weaver is already confirmed to be in the movie, as well as Pedro Pascal as Din Djarin, shocker, and Grogu, again, shocker. But Jeremy Allen White is joining that short list. So White's casting as Jabba's son provides the first real glimpse of what could be in store for the titular bounty hunter and his adorable wee adopted son. Their Disney Plus series, The Mandalorian, is set in the years following the events of Return of the Jedi, in which Princess Leia strangles Jabba to death. In the recent spin-off series, The Book of Boba Fett revealed that Jabba's absence felt a power vacuum amongst the organized crime bosses on Tatooine. Two of Jabba's cousins made a play for the territory, only to be defeated by Jabba the Hutt. I'm sorry, by Boba Fett, not Jabba the Hutt. But we saw those two twins in the Book of Boba Fett. Tamara Morrison, Boba Fett takes over instead. It seems likely that, with Jabba the Hutt's son somehow involved in the new film, that Boba Fett and his deputy, Fennec Shand, could show up as well. Yeah, this seems pretty likely now that Boba Fett will be in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, but Stinky the Hutt nonetheless. So it goes on to say what else he's been in, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So that's pretty good. That's pretty cool. Jeremy Allen White joins the cast of the Mandalorian and Grogu movie as Stinky the Hutt. That's pretty cool. Now, there is another cast for the Mandalorian and Grogu movie that was came out yesterday, or a couple days ago, that Johnny whatever. Johnny, the Shadow Council member from the Mandalorian Season 3, will be in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. This confirms that the Empire, or the remnant of the Empire, will be present in this Mandalorian and Grogu movie, which makes sense. That's what we assumed was happening. More names continue to be added to the cast of the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. A few weeks after wrapping filming, Johnny, who appears in the Mandalorian Season 3 as an Imperial warlord in the Shadow Council, will appear in this film. So if you don't know who this is, oh, they don't show a picture of him? What the heck? All right, I'll show you who this is. Johnny Coy in The Mandalorian. So he plays this guy right here. Here we go. Boom. That guy from the Shadow Council meeting in The Mandalorian Season 3, he will be reprising the role in The Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Pretty cool. Meaning that we could be seeing some other ones from that Shadow Council meeting as well, possibly, maybe. Grand Admiral Thrawn, maybe. But those are two pretty big casts. I mean, we don't know much about the Mandalorian and Grogu at all. But there's one other piece of news for this Mandalorian and Grogu movie that we have to talk about before we get back to the Skeleton Crew. And that is Pedro Pascal and whether or not we will see his face in this upcoming movie. Because we haven't seen his face since The Mandalorian Season 2, which aired 3 years ago. So we haven't seen Din Djarin's face in quite some time. But let's talk about this. The Mandalorian and Grogu movie, Pedro Pascal confirmed to be on the set. So this is pretty big. Pedro Pascal was filming Fantastic Four all summer and at the same time as the Mandalorian and Grogu movie was being filmed. But now we have confirmation that Pedro Pascal was on the set of the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Now, before you go, Mike, obviously it's his movie. Why wouldn't he be on the set? It wasn't always that way. Like, Pedro Pascal was not on the set of the Mandalorian season 3. We don't see his face, obviously, and he still is the voice, but he's a voiceover actor. The two guys who are under the mask as stunt doubles for Din Djarin are not Pedro Pascal. So this actually implies that we could be seeing Din Djarin's face in this Mandalorian and Grogu movie. And it makes sense. I mean, it's the first Star Wars movie back into theaters. Pedro Pascal's a big-time actor. You're going to want him pleased. You're going to want him to be in the movie specifically. So seeing his face is not that big of a surprise. But he just went through this entire arc in season 3 about bathing in the waters on Mandalore to not be able to take off his helmet anymore. So if he's taking off his helmet in this Mando movie, he might be dying. And I know I mentioned this before, and you guys were like, no way, Din Djarin's going to die in his own movie. Why else would he be taking off his mask? Why else? You know? They could be giving us a, like, Tony Stark inside the suit scene, like an Iron Man inside the mask type thing. But they've never done that before with the Mandalorian, and he has nothing glowing on the inside, so I don't think so. Yeah. Here's the thing. Now, before you go, no, there's no way he dies in his first movie. It would be the greatest catalyst ever. It would be a huge catalyst for Grogu's story. It would bring all these other characters together. Think about all the connections that he has to everybody else. He's friends with Boba Fett, Cobb Vanth. He's friends with Ahsoka Tano. He's met Luke Skywalker, or not really, from afar. Luke Skywalker, Bo-Katan. So he has a connection to the Mandalorians, the crime syndicates, the Jedi, and everything in between. The New Republic, Carson Teva. He is the glue to all these different stories. From Ahsoka to Book of Boba Fett to maybe if he shows up in Skeleton Crew, he's the glue between all these different characters. So if he dies to Grand Admiral Thrawn, let's say, it would establish Grand Admiral Thrawn's presence as a badass, first things first, prove how powerful he truly is, but also be a catalyst to bring all these other heroes together around the death of Din Djarin as an Avengers type thing, like they're going to avenge his death to fight Grand Admiral Thrawn. Proving how big of a threat he is to the audience, proving how big of a threat he is to Din Djarin's friends. It would be perfect. And I love Din Djarin. I love Pedro Pascal, and I don't want him to die, but it would be perfect. It would be such good writing. It would be incredible. It could even set Grogu down a dark path, become a Sith Lord. Maybe not that far, but it would be wild. It would be wild. It would be insane. Yeah. Grogu Avengers Assemble. Exactly. Exactly. And then come the third movie, you can just have a line that goes, somehow Din Djarin returns.
Incorrect.
You can't deny it would be perfect. You can't deny it wouldn't be perfect. I don't think they would kill off another cash cow. You say that, but they killed off Han, Luke, and Leia. Now, obviously, they weren't going to survive that trilogy, but the way they did it, they could have survived at least one movie together. They've killed off some pretty crazy characters in the past. It's not that wild to think. Even the Acolyte. Now, they didn't know that there wasn't going to be good reception to it. They didn't know that there was not going to be a second season. And they killed off everybody. Actually, they killed off Carrie Ann Moss's character, Master Indara, in the first scene of the show. Yeah. Yeah. I hope we get to see the Bad Batch come in somehow. It would be nice. Even just Omega would be nice. Omega in live action. Some fans think that that voice over the intercom could have been Omega, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, I guess. Tim says, hey, Mike, random theory for Jod. What if he was a Padawan, but wasn't selected to be a Jedi? He wouldn't have been sent to the council for reassignment, or he would have been sent to the council for reassignment. If he craved adventure, he would probably leave the order. So you're saying he was like a bad Padawan, and he wasn't selected to become a Jedi, and then he just left the order? It's a possibility. Yeah, for sure. Maybe. We haven't seen him really use the Force in like any crazy way. Like he's pulled a key across the room. He hasn't like done anything too wild. So maybe he doesn't have that much training. Possibility. Omega would still be alive. The others age twice the speed. Yeah, but it's not impossible for them to still be alive. I still think Captain Rex will be brought into live action at some point, maybe even in Skeleton Crew, but in some point in the recent future here. He'll be really old, but yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the biggest bummer for me in The Acolyte was that they killed off all the good guys. Made me more interested in the prequels than the second for a prequel than a second season. I was more interested in the bad guys in that show anyway. Chimera is one of my favorite characters in Star Wars now, and Osho was my second favorite in that show, so I was more intrigued in the bad guys anyway, and seeing Plagueis too. So for a season 2, it would have been focused on Plagueis and Chimera and Osho, and that's what I wanted anyway. But yeah, I get what you're saying. You don't want to see your heroes die. Doesn't anybody? Andrew says, anyone hold on to the thought that Starkiller could come into the TV show or a movie? I don't know. Starkiller's just too powerful. I don't know. He's too powerful. He's too powerful. I don't think it would work. Freak Zeke, what is up? All right, let me end this poll. And let's put up a new one. By the way, 73% of you guys think that the Old Republic is referring to the actual Old Republic and not the High Republic. That's pretty wild. All right, let's pull this up. Who? Who? No. What is Jod Na Nawood? You're going to have 4 options here. First one being a Jedi, meaning he survived Order 66. A Sith, meaning he was probably trained by a Sith, like a Palpatine or a Dooku or an Asajj Ventress or a Darth Maul. He was trained in the dark side of the Force. An ex-Inquisitor. Inquisitor. I think that's right. Or other. Now, other, if you say other, tell me what you think other is in the chat. But what do we think? Who is this guy going to be revealed to be? Now, it's been confirmed by Jude Law, that the 7th episode is his favorite episode, and it's when we learn about his past. So it's going to be a while till we learn about who he actually is. But it implies we could be seeing some flashbacks. It implies we could be getting an explanation to who he is. And I remind you guys about this mysterious Jedi Nina Nawood character that only existed on Google Cast and now exists on IMDb Cast. For this mysterious character in the show, could it be that we will get a flashback to Order 66 as he is with his master, Nina Nawood, when she dies in Order 66, and he goes off to maybe become a pirate or goes off to somehow survive and goes on from there. So could episode 7 really hold a flashback to Order 66 again? I love Order 66 flashbacks, don't get me wrong. They're fantastic. But we've gotten a lot of them lately. And could he be another character to survive it? What do we think? Fearless says he's a Force user. Maybe he trained with his mom. So you're thinking that's his mom? Well, it's because of the Nawood character, the Nawood name. Well, Nawood might not be his name. Might just be another alias. You know? Great Smoky Pokey, what's up? Says other. And other means someone not yet identified by the Jedi Order before Order 66, but was a late bloomer with the Force. He's self-taught through experiences and reactions. Interesting. So maybe in episode 7, we get a flashback to him first learning that he has the Force. He's maybe in some dire situation and has to use the Force, and he does. Then he goes, oh shit, I can use the Force. Interesting. Interesting. Kelleran Beck helps him escape. I don't know. We saw Kelleran help Grogu. I don't know if Kelleran's got more time. Darth Thor says, other. What if he failed the Jedi test? He would have survived Order 66, but not been there, and that would explain his minimal Force powers. So he learned for a little bit with the Jedi, but failed the tests. Not too shabby of a theory. I definitely think he is some sort of Force user. I have no indication if he's a Jedi or a Sith, at least not yet. But I think he might have learned from a Force user. Well, he must have learned from a Force user. Yeah. He's just a rando character. He learned from another pirate. Interesting. The Jedi don't have the monopoly of the Force or good morality. That's true. I mean, they're not the only people in the galaxy who wield the Force, but he must have learned from some other Force user. Yeah. Freak Zeke says, I'm hoping he's exactly that, an undiscovered late bloomer that never got taken by the Jedi Order. That would be pretty interesting. Chopper taught him in the ways of the Force. Oh, well, there you go. That's all the focus on his mom. Why all the focus on his mom? Well, there's this mysterious character that is in the cast for the show that we don't know about yet. Yeah. Might not even exist for all we know. I'll show you what I mean. So this, when you look up on Google, Skeleton Crew cast, she doesn't exist on the Google cast anymore, but she does exist on IMDb. If you go to the IMDb for Skeleton Crew and you go to the cast and crew, you come down here and you see, no way they took her down. No way. Am I just missing it, or did they take her down? What? Chat, I feel like I'm losing my mind now. You guys see her? Look for a Haley Webb on this list. Oh, by the way, did you guys catch Alfred Molina? Doc Ock was in that last episode. Sam Witwer voices. No way they took it down. You guys know I'm not lying. You were here for the last live stream. You know what we saw with our own two eyes. I'm not losing my mind. You're losing your mind. Wow, she doesn't exist anywhere anymore. So, hey, maybe she doesn't exist at all. Maybe the character was just fake. Or maybe not. Maybe she's real. I don't know. That's pretty wild that they took it down from there, too. That's pretty crazy. Huh. Wild. Wild, wild, wild. They scrubbed it clean. They scrubbed it clean. They removed Jod Na Nawood from all... I mean, not Jod Na Nawood. Nina Nawood from all the other places. Crazy. Crazy. Makes me believe that she's real even more now, actually. Makes me believe she's real a lot more now. They gave her an actress and everything. Like a real actress, real character name. Wild. Freak Zeke, it's your birthday? Can we get some happy birthdays to Freak Zeke in the chat, please? Glad you could make it. Hope you're having a great birthday. Hope you're having a Star Wars-filled birthday. You got quite the episode for your birthday. What if Miss Nawood is Wim's mom, and somehow Silvo killed her and took her name. Don't think Wim would know her maiden name. That's a stretch. That's a very big stretch. I don't think so. I don't think so. No. I don't think so. Wim's mom definitely has some significance behind her, though. Absolutely. I mean, she's probably the one who gave Wim those data pads that have the Jedi and the Sith on them. And she either died somehow. Let's talk about the supervisors, shall we? So at the beginning of the episode, when all the parents are hanging out, freaking out, I should say, because their kids are lost, and then the security droid or the safety droid comes in and tells them that their kids escaped the planet illegally, and the supervisor can't go help them because Wim's dad was like, "Can you contact the Republic and get them found?" Blah blah blah. And he was like, "No, the supervisor can't do that." They kept talking about the supervisor. Who do you guys think the supervisor is? If this planet has been hidden for as long as they say, hundreds if not thousands of years, supervisor is likely to be one of two things. No one, or a droid. I mean, maybe there's another option, but tell me if you have one in the chat. But it's most likely either a droid or no one. But who do you think this supervisor is? What do we think? Selena says it's also your husband's birthday and your daughter's birthday. They share the same birthday. That's awesome. Well, happy birthday to them too. Nice shirt. Thanks. Thank you. Feeling a little Boba Fett today. Feeling a little Boba today. The supervisor is Darth Plagueis. Oh, of course. Yeah. Hondo Ohnaka somehow? No. But let's talk about Hondo Ohnaka for a second. Because Hondo, there was a reference to him in this last episode. I put this in the breakdown video, but we got to talk about it again. There's actually a few things in this scene that need to be talked about. So this scene, when they're leaving when they're in the bubble machine, going back to their ship, we see a few interesting ships here. The first one being right down here, this one. This ship right here is the same ship that Hondo Ohnaka drives at Galaxy's Edge. So, Galaxy's Edge takes place in the sequel trilogy. This is, of course, 20-ish years before that. So it's possible that this ship is somebody else's right now, and that it later becomes Hondo Ohnaka's. Or it means that Hondo Ohnaka's ship is right there and probably at this starport as well. That's pretty cool. Now, there's a few other ships in the background here. I don't know if we can see. I think it's this one, but I could be wrong. One of the ships, we can see it from the side on a different angle, but it's the original concept art for the Millennium Falcon. Let me see if I can find this real quick. By the way, speaking of the Acolyte briefly, they just released the cover of the visual guide for the Acolyte. So they're clearly doing more content on the Acolyte. And by the way, guys, this was the Alfred Molina character in Skeleton Crew. This dude that Jod talked to that used to work for Jod. Him right there. So this was another thing that was in the background. So right here in this frame, in the bottom corner right there, this is one of the Star Tours from Disneyland, Disneyland and Disney World. This is one of the Star Tours parts from the ride at Disneyland. So the same way that there's a sink and a potato flying around in space in the original Star Wars, because they just wanted to throw in things as asteroids, they threw in the Star Tours ride in the background of this pirate port. It's so funny. It's like a blink and you miss it type thing, but it's just hilarious. Let me see if I can find the other thing I was talking about. No. Oh, here we go. So the original concept design for the Millennium Falcon is here up at the top. It was originally going to be that sort of Tantive 4 that was eventually became Leia's ship. It actually turned into the Millennium Falcon, or well, this turned into the Tantive 4, but this was the original concept art for Han Solo's Millennium Falcon, and it's seen right here in the spaceport outside of Port Porgo, which is pretty cool. Again, this show has so many Easter eggs. It so just feels like Star Wars. It's awesome. It's so good. Can't get enough of it. Can't get enough. Yeah. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Oh, wait. Huh. So Jude Law got his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame today. This happened today. That's pretty cool. That's another little thing for you. All right, let me end this poll. Could the supervisor be a slightly malfunctioning separatist droid? No. Separatist droid? No. Could be a lot older than that, though. Yeah. By the way, who do you think Jod Na is? 75% of you say other. 13% still say Jedi. 7% say an ex-Inquisitor. And only 3% say a Sith. Interesting. Sid is the supervisor? No.
Incorrect.
I will pull out Anakin Skywalker, World Between Worlds, Nightfall Anakin on your ass right now. No. Sid? Imagine. Okay. Well, I mean, we speculated quite a bit today. I feel like we got a little bit. We got some places. Talked about the High Republic connection between Chancellor Lina Soh and the Great Works. Possible old Republic connections with Darth Nihilus and why the hell would you hide 9 planets? We're going to do a lot more speculating on Saturday's stream and, of course, on Monday's stream before predictions for Episode 4. But this show just keeps getting better. If you're not here at the beginning of the stream, rank this episode out of 10. Episode 3 out of 10. How hype were you for it? I gave it a 9 out of 10. It might even get higher than that. I gave episode 2 also a 9 out of 10. It's pretty great. The supervisor is Darth Jar Jar? That'd be wild. I can live without seeing Sid ever again. Happily, thank you very much. Me too. Yeah. Absolutely. 9 out of 10, 7.5 out of 10, 9 out of 10. 9 out of the 10 planets. Nice. Good one. Oh, another thing I want to talk about before we get on out of here was this thing we looked at earlier of the 9 planets. And then there was the 10th planet here. Let me show you this. So we talked about Chancellor Lina Soh. This article. The Chancellor Lina Soh looks like this. Now, again, we haven't seen her in live action, so take this with a grain of salt. But you see Chancellor Lina Soh here. By the way, she's badass. She has 2 lions by her side, or what look like lions, at all times. But this is what she looks like. Keep that image in mind, okay? Because when we look at this, let's see if I can flip this, actually. It's going to rotate it. Aha. No, I want to rotate it. One more time. When we look at this, and it's very hard to see here, but it looks a little similar in a way. I say again, a little similar to Chancellor Lina Soh. She doesn't have 2 lions next to her, but it does have the sort of same looking headpiece type thing, and kind of the same dress-like thing. She's got this big sort of thing on her head. It's similar. Not the exact same, but it's similar. Yeah. That's pretty cool. Didn't want to forget to mention that. Selena with a very generous $2 holla. I appreciate that, Selena. Says, Mike, who do you think Jod is? I don't know, Selena. I'd love to give you a specific answer. I think he's going to end up being a Jedi who survived Order 66, and he just went down a dark path. I think he became a pirate after Order 66. It's been about 30 plus or 28-ish years since Order 66. I think he's just going to be a guy who became a pirate after Order 66, which means we're going to get to see another Order 66 scene, which is I'm completely fine with, but we'll see. We shall see. Robert says a theory could be that it would be Yoda. Oh, sorry, Yoda would be aware of those hidden planets. I don't know. We don't know if Yoda had any knowledge of these planets, and if he did, I have no idea. Yeah. I have no clue. I want to know if there was multiple female voices on each of the front door probe sticks for the Owl's place. I don't know. I want to know who the woman 2 was in the New Republic lady that Kim called, because it sounded a little bit like it could have been Omega, as somebody pointed out in the live watch party the other night. Would have been pretty cool. It would have been pretty cool. Yeah. He's a pirate Jedi. Yeah, pretty much. Pirate Jedi. First of his kind. I'm sure Hondo Ohnaka gets along great with him because he was friends with the Jedi and a pirate. Another connection to Hondo Ohnaka. All right, I am going to get on out of here. Watch out for a video possibly tomorrow. If not, of course, a live stream on Saturday. Maybe a video on Sunday. Depends on if we have a video tomorrow or not. And then live stream Monday. And then we got episode 4 on Tuesday. What I meant to say. But I appreciate you guys. Smash a freaking like on the stream if you have not already. How many likes do we have? Am I going to be mad? 68? We have 90 people here. What's going on, chat? What, do we not like to press the like button anymore? What's going on? What's up with that? Smash a freaking like on the stream if you have not already. Hit that subscribe and hit that bell so you get notified every time I post a video in my pretty face. Or show the recommended feed of yours. I mean, it doesn't get much better than this. Speculating, having fun, doing all this stuff. It's great. Whew. It's great. But I appreciate all you guys. Smash a like if you have not already on your way out. Hit that subscribe and hit that bell so you get notified every time I post a video. May the force be with you. Always. Maybe I should get Samantha to replace me 1 week. What's up with that, Lee? You don't like seeing me every week? You're sick of me already? No. Okay, maybe. We can have her on as a guest at some point if you want to do that. But replace me? You want to get rid of me already? All right. What a great stream. What a great show. This was probably one of my favorite streams of all time. Just speculating about this show is awesome. And we had, of course, a lot of fun people in the chat that should have smashed a freaking like on the stream. God damn. But I appreciate you guys. I hope you have a great rest of your evening. Great rest of your lives. And good night, everybody.